Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network. And we are back here with Jacqueline News talking in regards to, well, the company she works for, VitaJuwel, and so much more. She's an intuitive. I'll let you introduce yourself because there's a lot to you, sweetheart. Welcome back today.
Hi. Well, I guess first, I said to myself, Jill is so intuitive, and because you are, and I don't know if you know how intuitive you are. Have you ever thought that or been told that?
I've been told that. I think it's sometimes, but I really doubt myself. So I don't really know how to go with it. Like, I think I talked to my mom who's dead. I don't know. I look for signs. I feel them. So I feel I'm a little bit intuitive, but I've never nurtured it or tried to explore it further. But
okay, well, here's your confirmation. You're very intuitive. You're definitely intuitive. And I can tell when I talk to you and when I listen to you talk to other people, and when I hear what you say and how you say it, I know that they're direct downloads. And so you're dead on with all of it. And the more that you give it, space in your life, I think you'll be really amazed because you're very intuitive.
Thank you. That's a holiday gift in itself for my new year. Thank you. Thank you. And I've been told that I should start reading some books about that and how to bring it out more. And any recommendations on how, if you are an intuitive or maybe one, what would you say? How do I explore that further?
Well, and I would say you're 100% intuitive with that comment, because that sort of actually leads me into what I got a download about this morning that I needed to talk about, and I wasn't exactly sure how to do it or when to bring it in. And that, I guess, was, where should I start with this story? You can always go so far back with these stories.
I love your stories, though. You're good. I mean, I just hope everything's okay at the complex right now after what, the hubby's little incident and his mom, and everyone's okay.
Yes.
All right, good.
Constant drama always, but not that kind of drama this weekend.
Not
the drama
so bad,
this morning was that over the holidays, so should we go back to June?
Sure. Whatever they're telling you, right?
Okay. Further back than June. We'll go back to March, when I closed my store and my retail operation last year. And that was a really difficult decision, because when you put so much into a business, the time, the energy, the resources, it's really hard to get rid of something that you've helped to bring to life and create. What it did was it enabled the way for a whole bunch of other things to flow into my life. But I really struggled with it in the few months following the closure, because that was supposed to be how I launched all of these products and my distribution chain and the brand recognition and all the staff that I had trained. And I wondered what I was going to do now that all of that was gone, and how I was going to get back to the place where I thought I had been, which is having resources at my disposal to try and get products and information out to people. And so when I first converted my life over to being completely intuitive, it was because nothing had been working in my life. I think I alluded to the fact that I have a business degree and I'd run several different businesses, and things just never took off the way I thought they would take off with them. And one day I woke up and I said, that's not the lesson and the challenge in my life. The challenge in my life is that I am not supposed to have a career. I'm not supposed to have children. I'm not supposed to do anything productive. I am supposed to be the most useless person I could imagine, and come to terms with that. And as someone who's always been very driven and very goal-oriented and wanted a career and didn't want, a guy to look after her, to decide that you're going to be a stay-at-home mom with no kids and no career and not even a fabulous social life or, being a socialite, you wonder what you're going to do with yourself. And so I'm like, if I know that I'm never going to have children, I'm never going to have a career, I'm never going to do volunteer work, I'm never going to, what would I do to find substance in my life? And the answer that I got is that I would start telling people things that I knew that could help them. And so did I talk about this in the first show or not? No. How I went around, and if someone was having a problem or something in their life and I knew something that could help them, I would start opening up and sharing this with them. The problem is that no one had a clue what on earth I was talking about. And so from there, I decided that if something cost less than $20 and I knew I could, if someone needed something that was less than $20, I would go out and buy it for them and I would give it to them. And that way they wouldn't have to figure out where a health food store was located or what these different products and remedies were or how to, what to do with them. I would just give it to them. So when you're not employed and you're not working and every single person has products that you are giving them for less than $20, it adds up pretty quick.
Yeah.
And the problem was I went to a friend's office and I'd given him all these products a year ago and I showed up and they were gathering dust and literally gathering dust in a corner of his office and they hadn't been touched in the year since I gave them to him. And I noticed a whole bunch of bottles of water on his desk. And I may have already said this. I think quite honestly, he drank more beer than water at that point in his life. And I was very shocked to see water on his desk. And I asked if he drank water and he goes, well, sometimes, or today I do. And I said, if I take these remedies and I put them into water for you, would you drink them? And he said, yes, I would. So I went out to the store and I bought a whole bunch of bottles of water and I took all of the remedies and I put them into bottles of water. And from there, I started giving out bottles of water to people. And within a few weeks, people had tremendous, amazing results. And people were coming to me and asking me where they could find these waters and how they could buy them and how they could share them and give them to family and friends. So that was how my business originally started. So following the closure of my official, signature storefront in the last 12 months, I was kind of back at the same place. And I'm like, I don't have a career, I don't have staff, all of the properties, money, resources, inventory that we put into developing this, it's all gone. And I literally have nothing left and I'm falling apart. What on earth can I do with myself that could help put myself back together? And I thought of the reason that I was falling apart. And the reason that I had fallen apart is because I really, really wanted the resources that I had before so that my sprays could get out there into the general public. And I thought to myself, I have a bottle and I have a sprayer and I don't need a website and I don't need staff and I don't need to explain to myself how to use them. I just need to go and start spraying. And so I went out and I started spraying my remedies all over the city that I live in. And it went from individual bottles to I got bigger bottles with like big, massive sprayers on them so that I could go out and do more. And I upgraded. Now I have a backpack.
Nice.
And in my back. Can you still hear me?
Yeah, and Mike fell off, I think. It's okay.
I lost my speaker.
That's
with
okay.
My backpack.
It took it down. Don't worry.
So anyways, I went out and I got a garden sprayer. And this has a battery on it and you can plug it in and you can release massive quantities of spray.
Ooh.
And so every day I started going out and I started spraying. And when you spray the remedies and you put them onto people and, places, the energy gets lifted and it totally changes. And I'm a morning person, so I would get up at 5 o'clock in the morning and go out and do this. And then around 7 o'clock or 8 o'clock in the morning, I would start to get really nauseous and really sick. And it came to me pretty quickly that what was happening is everybody was going into their workplaces, going into the park, getting out of bed and going on with their life. And as different people's energy fields were coming in contact with the sprays, the changes and shifts were happening and nobody knew what to do about it or how to deal with it. So then I started doing hours of energy work following my spraying to help everybody integrate these new shifts that could happen. And what I noticed is this is probably the most selfish thing I've ever done in my life. And the reason that I say that is because as an energy worker, you're used to making your energy work with everybody else's because you want people to feel comfortable or happy or relaxed or give them what they need or take care of them. And you're just so in tune with what their own energy was. But with all of the shifts and changes that had been going on in the world, I could no longer make my energy field match the new energy field of the world every single day. And by going out and spraying my remedies, I was no longer matching everybody else's energy field. I was making everybody match mine. And it fixed me. It put me back together, and it gave me the will to want to go on and to start, keep putting my remedies out there and keep finishing my collection. And basically, as long as I spray every day, my world is really good. And so over the holidays, we've made a real point of making sure to do that. And so I was doing it this morning, and I sprayed my Prayers Help remedy this morning. And it started out, it's a remedy about hope, and it's a remedy about what to do when all is lost. It has tanzanite in it. Are you familiar with tanzanite?
Well, that's like a dark looking type of stone. I don't know what it's used for, right? But yeah, I've heard of it.
Yeah. So tanzanite is found in Tanzania, and it comes on a fault line. So it is created through extreme heat and pressure, and when the ground has literally been ripped out from under you. And there was a major accident in my province probably 4 years ago, I think it was. And it was a hockey team, and the bus was hit by a semi, and I don't know if it's I'll say most of the players died. And it was, a junior team maybe, so not pro or semi-pro, but like the league before you get into that. And my cousin was the assistant coach on the team, and he just finished his degree at York University. I think he was the assistant captain on the York University team, or maybe the captain. And he'd come back home to Saskatchewan, and he was coaching, the assistant coach on this team. It was sort of his dream job. My aunt and uncle were so happy to have him back in the province. And this was a terrible trauma that basically ripped through our entire province, because everybody knows someone who plays hockey or has played hockey. It's a very close-knit community. There's only 1 million people in our province. So, everybody was really affected by it. And as hard as it was, the miraculous thing that came out of it was the people of Saskatchewan are really, really passionate about taking care of people and helping people and making sure that everybody is looked after when something goes wrong. And I think it really stemmed from our origins. And when people immigrated to Canada, and it started with the Indigenous people. We would not have survived without their help in teaching us how to live off the land and teaching us how to get through it. And from there, it moved to the settlers. And the fact that you really helped your neighbors out. And if you didn't have neighbors to help with barn buildings, to help get the harvest off the field, to help deliver babies in the middle of, winter when you couldn't get anywhere, no one would have survived. And so the energy that I took out of and downloaded from that experience, and the work that I did, and the people that I met and that I helped, and the people that helped me, was just that there's always someone there to help. And I also, on the label, there's a guardian angel, because Lorna Byrne is a medium in Ireland, and she writes books, on angels. And probably the most important thing that I ever took out of her books was that we have to ask for help. We have a multitude of angels and people wanting to help us out, but if we don't give them permission to ask for their help, they can't help us. And so Prayers Help, it's spelled, it has players help in it for all the players that were lost. And the help is written with 2 double hockey sticks, because following this event, a sign of double hockey sticks in the doorway was what that was really about. And also the hell that you might be going through and the help that you can get to get out of your own personal hell. So that was the remedy that we sprayed in the city this morning. And now, where was I going from that?
That's all right. We digress. It's okay.
Intuitive. So I actually had a meltdown when we were doing it. And I was really upset, because I was just like, this needs to happen on such a massive scale, and it needs to happen so big. And I don't know how to get everything that I know out there and all of these products out there so that people can start receiving the help that they need.
Yeah.
And what came out of that was the very first question that you asked me this morning when I said you were intuitive, and you said, well, what can I do? And I thought to myself, of all the times you brought up VitaJuwel and these products that I sell, and how I sort of, I brush them off and I don't really go into them. because I want to talk about spirit and your relationship with spirit and how that can change your life. But what you brought up is that there's a missing piece to the puzzle. And the missing piece is, how do we go from regular people living a real world existence to spiritual people? And I want to talk about the VitaJuwel products today, because in my opinion, they are the second most important thing on this entire planet, that helps people open up and develop a relationship with spirit and their soul so that they can access higher consciousness and help themselves and the people around them in the ways that they need to.
Go ahead. I don't know where you wanted to go next.
And I don't know if I said the reason why it's the second most important, and that's because I believe my products are the most important, because they have been very specifically worked on to help people in those areas. But we talked about crystals last week, and we talked about, okay, they're telling me to go back 2 steps because I didn't talk about this last week and I wanted to talk about it. Did you happen to watch the Threes Company episode?
No, I didn't, but I can't believe that all connected last week.
Okay, well, the reason why is because I believe that there was a very significant message in there, and I wasn't sure if I was supposed to give it to you or not, or give it to you on air.
Ooh,
but when I was watching that, is it okay if I talk about this?
Openly? Absolutely. Yes, it's okay.
Okay.
You have my permission.
So Jack Tripper, in the episode of Three's Company, where they were talking about this woman who wanted to have a baby, and they mistakenly thought Janet was trying to interview men to have this baby with. Jack Tripper was very, very upset because he had a very personal and a very close relationship with Janet. And he thought, if she's going out and doing this, I want to be the father, not I want to be the father and I want to share this kid with her. But why wouldn't she have asked me? Because of our relationship and how much I love her and how closely I feel to her. And the energy that came through that scene was so absolutely overwhelming. And all I could think about was that there's someone in your life who felt that way. And I don't know if the energy had been cleared around it or dealt with it, or if you were aware of that or not.
My best friend, his name is Chucky. We call him Staten Island Chuck. When I told him I was pregnant, I brought him to my house to explain, and he was like not happy for me. He was like upset with me, saying, nobody does that. Nobody, no television person gets pregnant by themselves. That people are going to look at you weird. I'm like, screw everyone. I don't care what they think. I just want to be a mom. I'll do anything. And he was so mean about it. It was bizarre because he was like my best friend, but he was also my best friend who had a crush on me for many years. And we never even pursued anything because I loved him as a friend and he always wanted more with me. So not until recently, and his mom just passed away a Halloween weekend. And he said it to me. He's like, why I was so upset. He's like, because I wanted to be that person. I would have been the father. That is so true. And you're crying. Yeah. Chuck Demodio is his name. Yeah. And he really wanted, I said, well, you never expressed that. So I've been telling you, I loved you for years and I loved you. And I'm like, yeah, but you never said you would want to have a kid with me. I'm like, and my mind is so like focused on having a kid. I'm having a kid. Because I was in a relationship with someone who backed out last minute. So it was like a matter of weeks where I was just went on the internet and looked up sperm donors. But I never thought to ask him. And I guess that's why he was so mad. And I take it personally that he was not happy for me. He was mad about it. And now he looks at my son 6 and, he hasn't seen him since last December. He's got to come out soon, but he's like, that's why I was upset. You are spot on. He would have been and wanted to be, but he never ever told me. I never thought, but yeah. Wow.
Oh yeah, they felt it was important that I share that with you, which you already knew. But.
Thank you. Well, he recently came too and told me. Wow.
Yeah. So, and because there's so much energy associated with that and it came through so strongly, I don't know if, that was what's been done, or if he actually would want to play more of a part in it. If there's just some conversations that need to be had, or if maybe he actually wants to play a part in raising this son, and not like he doesn't have to be a father, he doesn't have to be a lover, but just if someone wants to show up and give positive energy or life or, experiences to our world, and they feel so passionately about it, then when we let them help in the ways that they want to and are able to, that's when miracles happen.
Wow. Well, we also joke about maybe one day we'll be together when we're like in our 70s or 80s with our walkers. So it'll be a non-sexual relationship because I don't love him that way, but he's my really good friend. But people say you could have a different, you can love someone, but I don't have that passion but maybe that's not what you need to be in love with someone. I don't know because I'm not married. I've never been. So we always joke we'll probably end up together in the very end when we're old and decrepit and we could just take care of each other because we're like such good friends, which they say that's the basis of every relationship, right?
I think too, when you start looking at soul connections and how people are involved in your life, you realize that there's people that can give you mothering energy, even if they're not your mother. There's people that can give you, fathering energy or best friend energy. And I started looking, I base my relationships, based on what they actually tell me to do. But aside from that, the people that fit into my life all have very different roles to play. And they're very much outside the normal roles of what we're taught these relationships should look like or who these people should be. And by allowing those friends to offer energy in different areas of my life, it's given me a really beautiful rainbow of people that I connect with.
Oh.
So back to, quickly, very, very quickly. I was going to wear this and then I heard, you need to wear your cat shirt. But these are the spectacular $200 pajamas.
Oh, those are them? Oh, from your mom and your aunt?
Christmas. Yeah. So I just wanted to show you that they exist. They do exist.
Are they cozy as ever?
Yes, they absolutely.
Oh my God, that's right. Because your mom bought one and then your aunt helped you with the other. That was a crazy story, right? How you went down there, you weren't supposed to, and then got the hair done, and then like you're staying, and everything just works out.
Yeah. So, and we also talked about crystals and how you asked, well, would glass do that? Can glass transform it? And I don't know the answer to it. And I didn't have the answer when we talked, but the answer that came to me after is that I know that sand contains silicia, but I don't know what else sand contains. And I know that glass is made of silicia, but I don't know what else glass contains. And I don't know what glass goes through in the processing of it that transforms or changes it. And when we're looking at natural energy and things that can help us on a vibrational level, it's very important that it maintains the integrity of something found in nature. Because anytime that you chemically or physically, you go in there and you muck around, it's like messing with the DNA of something, and our bodies don't know how to utilize it or process it or work with it. So I'm not saying that glass couldn't work, but I'm saying I don't know enough about the glass glowing process, but I do know about silicia and that silicia does work. And so when we talk about turning our bodies into computers, because in my opinion, that's what we are. I'm a human antenna and a human computer, and I process and take in information. And one of, like I said, the number 2 thing that helps me do that are the VitaJuwel products. And so this is a vial, and you stick it in your water, and we have special decanters for it. And I don't know if you can.
That is so pretty.
So this is a Forever Young one, and you stick it in your decanter for 7 to 10 minutes, and it transforms the water into snowflakes. And this is what helps the crystal structures in our body align so that we can behave like computers and take in extrasensory and higher sensory perception.
Wow. What else do you have? Show me more. Let me see some of these products.
So this is a water bottle. And this is called Santa's Wish. And it was one that I had done up for my family and friends this holiday season. And so
wow.
In focus so you can see it. There's a little 24 karat gold plated snowflake in there. And we have rhodochrosite, ruby zostite, shungite, stilbite, rhodonite, and some other things. Yeah. And I think the thing about this is, yes, everybody has a soul, and I don't think people know that they have a soul. And I don't think that they realize that it exists and think about developing a relationship with it.
Wow.
And this is what came to me in the truck this morning as we're spraying, and I'm having my breakdown about what can I say to people, or how can I get the point across of what you can do and why you should do it. And this is what people do to their soul. And I say this because I'm the one who sees and talks to the souls on the other end.
Yeah.
People take their soul and they stick it in a mental institution from 400 years ago and dope it up on all sorts of products that don't belong in it and stop talking to it.
Yeah.
And I walk through the mental institution, and I know this is totally in every way incorrect to say it and whatever, but what I mean by that is that these souls come to me and I see how damaged they are, and I see how many substances they have in them that don't belong, and I see them yelling and screaming at these people for them to wake up and pay attention. And the question I have to say to you is, why haven't you started, and I don't mean you, Jill.
I know what you mean.
Why haven't people started developing a relationship with your soul? Talk to your soul, get to know your soul, find out what your soul is trying to tell you. And that is the way that's the way to financial prosperity.
Okay.
That's the way to building your relationships. That's the way to helping the planet and the environment. That's the way to progressing your soul through to the next life. That's the way to not bang your head against the wall every single day, wondering why your life is so awful and what you can do to change it.
Wow. So we have 4 minutes left in the show. Let me see what else. Wait, so that is the decanter with the.
Yes.
Okay.
So this is the decanter with the vial in it. I'll show you the fitness vial too. Fitness has magnesite in it, and magnesite is what magnesium is derived from. So any of your magnesium related deficiencies, theoretically drinking magnesite water will help. And I'm not allowed to tell you what it is because I'm not a registered medical professional, but let's just say, look up magnesium and know that theoretically magnesium stones can do the same thing for yourself.
Wow.
So, and this decanter is really special because it holds the vial in place so that it can't bang against the walls of the glass.
How long does it have to sit in there?
7 to 10 minutes.
That's it.
Yes. And there have been the studies done on the VitaJuwel products that show the snowflakes and how the water changes after 7 to 10 minutes. And let's see if some brochures have snowflakes in them.
I want to see. Yeah, I'm going to go to the website, VitaJuwel.ca, which I can go to,
this one does, but we still have the German. We have the German one in.
Wow.
But you won't be able to read it, but I will show you. This is,
okay.
And I don't know how clear it is on your screen. Tap water under a microscope and 7 to 10 minutes after it's had the VitaJuwel.
Are you serious? Oh my gosh.
And every different stone produces a different snowflake. So they're not cheap water bottles, but you're not buying a water bottle. You're buying a connection to your soul. You're buying the radio antenna that will help you talk to and interact with your soul on a regular basis and figure out who the heck is this person and what have they been dying to tell me my whole entire life.
Wow. Yeah, I'm on the website right now. I'm looking at these.
And straws. You asked about the straws.
Oh, the straws I saw. Yeah, tell me.
Yeah, so we just brought out these straws. They come in a bamboo carrying case. One tree gets planted for every straw sold.
Wow.
And there's 7 different ones that go with the chakras. They have a coconut husk. The straw in there is coconut husk. The cleaner is coconut. Straws are borosilicate glass, and so you can just slide your gemstone in, leave it in your drink, and it works great as a party favor for New Year's.
Yeah.
Because everybody has a different colored stone. They come in sets of. They come individually.
And clearly the stones are reusable, glass after glass after glass.
Yes.
It doesn't lose their
set of 7 that has a different stone for every chakra.
Oh my gosh. Oh my God. Yeah. So the one for like the gut, what's the gut? The gut is.
I mean, there's a couple different ways of doing it. The yellow, the orange calcite is for the specific solar plexus or gut.
Solar plexus, okay.
The problem is that your gut and your intestine are so connected that lots of people who have gut issues actually have colon issues. And your saliva is connected to that as well, because your saliva is what puts receptors on the food and tells it where it's going in your body and how to be used. And your intestine is what actually absorbs. So your stomach breaks it down, your intestine absorbs it.
Okay.
And, tells it where to go. So, but I used to have, I believe I had celiac, but I was never actually tested for celiac. I just came to the realization that I couldn't digest any sort of wheat or gluten whatsoever. And I went off of wheat completely. Well, I dropped it down about 90%, 80 or 90%, and I got a lot better. And then after I got to a point where I couldn't even do the last 10%. So for an entire year, I cut absolutely every source of gluten out of my diet and felt amazing, except that we were going away to the Banff Springs again. And if you've ever heard, the Banff Springs is some of the most fabulous food in Canada.
No.
And
I
so
got to
here
get
we
to
were going
Canada. I haven't been
away.
there in years. But I don't know much about. I need to come back. I visited. I went to Toronto. I went to my gosh, I can't remember the other Montreal, and then I went to Alberta for one of the rodeos. Yeah.
Oh, the Calgary Stampede.
Calgary, thank you. Yes, the Stampede I went to.
Yeah, so Banff is about an hour out of Calgary, and it has ammonite in it. So this is ammonite. Ammonite is a fossilized snail, but ammonite is found in the Rocky Mountains, and it's the bright rainbow of colors. And I had a dealer there who let me use the most fabulous ammonite gemstone to make my ammonite remedy. And anyways, a totally magical experience. I'll tell you about it in another episode. But I wanted to be able to eat food at the Banff Springs Hotel. So I did a 12-week protocol with different crystals and gemstones, my digestive spray. Actually, I knew you were intuitive. Here we go again.
Hey.
These are the two sprays I used. These two sprays and a homeopathic remedy. And 12 weeks later, I could eat gluten, no problem. And I've been eating gluten ever since.
Are those on the site too?
Yes, they are.
And what are they?
They're my
under?
Sophia's Tones collection after the Solfeggio frequency.
Perfect. And unfortunately, we are out of time. We're actually over, which is fun. Jacqueline, tell us how we can reach out to you and get more information.
VitaJuwel.com, VitaJuwel.com. So this New Year's, buy yourself a water bottle, connect with your soul. It is the best thing you can do for yourself. And it's so vitally important.
Oh, thank you so much. I really like you. You're so sweet. Are we talking after the new year as well?
Yes, we absolutely
Awesome. All right, good. So we'll continue next week. Thank you so much for your time, for being here, and enjoy your new year. And thank you for being so awesome. You're so intuitive. And now I'm intuitive, which is so cool. I'll work on that too.
Absolutely. Yes.
Thank you, sweetheart. Have a great day and happy new year to you, the husband, and your family. Enjoy yourself. Bye-bye. Mwah. Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.
For nearly 2,000 severely injured veterans, everyday life has become filled with barriers.
Day-to-day simple tasks can become pretty daunting.
I have to carry my chair up 2 flights of steps or have somebody do it for me.
What scares me the most is just the falling.
When I'm struggling with my house, I think, to have that one great barrier just knocked down, I mean, it's crucial.
Home for Our Troops is a wonderful nonprofit that builds a
mortgage-free, fully adaptive, handicap-accessible house.
And there's no catch.
It'll be our very first home that we've ever owned. This is a game changer.
This is where your life begins again.
We need you to join us in completing this important mission. Please visit hfotusa.org and help build homes and rebuild lives.
Because of you, everything's going to be okay.